Hello, this is Self-Reflection with Nekesa. Today, on this program, we are privileged to have a guest with us, Collins Majale, aka Kolo Falme. We've been talking about self-awareness, and we have walked this journey towards self-awareness and self-discovery with Collins. So Collins is just here to share with us his practical or experiential journey in identifying who he is and his purpose. Good evening, Collins.
Good evening. How are you doing, prophetess?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Me too.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much. Thank you so much.
Welcome. And just feel free to share with the viewers. So tell them who exactly is Collins Majali.
Who exactly is Collins Majali? You know, I like that question, first of all, because I've been keeping tabs on the previous episodes. And I want to try to be very careful with this answer. But from whatever I've learned, I believe I'm a bold spirit who is a Christian. First of all, I'm a Christian. I'll describe myself as a Christian. A husband, a father, who is well known to other peers and friends and family, also as a musician and an artist in the creative arts. I believe I'm a free spirit also. Like I love socializing a lot, you know, when I get the chance, and reaching out to people, because even in scripture it says that God created us with a spirit of love, power, and sound mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Collins, you said you are a fierce spirit. Expound more on that.
A fierce spirit. When we talk about fierce spirit, when I reflect on my journey, when I started out, especially in preschool, I attended St. Christopher's preparatory, when one of the teachers said that I am a very outspoken person. Like I speak a lot. I like speaking my mind a lot.
Yeah, you speak your mind.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes. So, in terms of you'd have to be fierce and bold to do that, because not everyone is able to express themselves vocally the way I believe I do.
So we can say you are outspoken.
Yes.
You are
confidently.
Yes, you're outspoken. You're confident. You know, we've been talking about self-awareness and in our past 4 episodes, and not only have you been following the program, but you are one of the people that we've walked through in this journey, and understanding that self-awareness is actually knowing your weaknesses, your strengths. You've told us more of your strengths. Are you aware of any weaknesses that you may be having?
Actually, you gave us some homework, and I reached out to someone close. You'll allow me just to pick the phone so that I can read out some of the feedback, because I reached out to someone and I asked them, please share with me some of the strengths that you think I have, and some of those weaknesses. But to answer your question, some of the weaknesses, as per the homework that we did, is second guessing myself. That's one of the weaknesses.
So when you say second guessing, what do you mean?
Well,
To the viewer outside there who doesn't.
Like, an example of second guessing is when you've put your mind to doing something, then you're like, will I really make it? Will I really do it? Will I be able to execute it? So I think that's the best example I can give about second guess. And then there was also lack of empathy. It was also said that I'm impulsive, compulsive talker, and easily discouraged.
You get easily discouraged. Okay, lack of empathy. Do you think you're non-empathic? Could you describe yourself?
Well, I suppose I prefer to move on quickly. And then that perhaps makes me or portrays me as one who lacks in empathy.
You know, when you're non-empathic, you're not able to feel people's pains. People who are non-empathic, they hardly feel people. They hardly identify with people's pain, you know. Empathizing is different from sympathizing. You see, when I empathize with you, I put myself in your shoes. And we've not sat with you to do that test, but I remember giving that homework and saying that you can get feedback. And I think you're talking about the blind self, the things that people may know about you, but you may consider yourself to be loving or kind, but other people, when you begin to do the questions, you realize that probably you are not the way you see yourself to be. So, now that you got that feedback, what have you been doing with it? Yeah? I mean, what are the goals, or what plans did you come up with?
Through the experience that I've been fortunate to have in doing copywriting, of course I write a lot. So when you mentioned in the first episode, I believe, second episode about journaling, I really journal a lot. But then after getting the tip about meditating on what you journal, I think that was an eye-opener, because then you're able to go and just recap on everything that you journal about. So even with some of those weaknesses that were presented to me concerning my
So there was the non-empathic. Let's just talk about it again.
Yeah.
Were you given examples? Because you cannot conclude that somebody is this. I'm sure the person who was giving you the feedback is somebody who knows you very well and they've been with you for some time. Because I remember when we were talking about self-reflection and some of the tools that we can use, one of it was getting positive feedback, and I believe that is the approach that you chose to use. Were there specific examples, and even based on your life as an artist, a creative, someone who interacts with people? Are there moments or times you look back and you feel that this feedback, this blind self that you never really knew you had, can you identify? Do you have examples that you can identify, specific examples, and also explain to us how the fact that you've been self-aware, how it has helped you as a tool?
Thank you so much. One of the examples of me back in the day, before waking up to, it begins with spiritual awakening, of course.
The God factor.
Yes, the God factor. That's key, because again, we are spirit, we are spiritual beings, and because how to deal with my emotions then is not how I choose to master my emotions today, after waking up to the God factor. You know, so there's one day I met with a lady who used to enjoy our music back in the day when I was in the group Klepto, and of course she's seen the transformation and of my testimony. So she once told me, you know, Kolo, you've changed a lot, because the first time we met, I really thought you're full of it. She just told me that, and you know, she used a word that I really can't use at this moment, but I asked her, what do you mean? So she told me there was a day that we were in a, you know, recreational facility, and when I came in to say hi, you said, and now she's referring to me, that I told her that she was only there because we are celebrities, and I know that she wants to hang out with us. And in the way I said it came out as, this guy is full of it. Egoistic, you know, because you think you're there, you know.
Self-absorption.
Exactly.
We talked about it.
Yes.
Because self-awareness is not self-absorption. So you're actually bringing it out. We talked about self-absorption being feeling entitled. It's about me. You know, everything is centered around you. So from that statement, it seems you are so you see that you are quite self-absorbed.
Absorbed. Totally. Totally.
And you see, I think now that statement of non-empathic, because when you're self-absorbed, you are not empathic. You don't empathize with anybody at all. And that's when we see people, the end justifies the means. People who are self-absorbed tend to, it doesn't matter, even in the corporate circles, everywhere, they will use anybody without empathizing just to climb, because it is all about myself, and it is something. You can tell us more. I think most personalities in the arts, in the entertainment, or people not necessarily in the arts and the entertainment, people who are up there, who have a particular platform that has been raised for them, unless they use self-awareness as a tool, they can really, like, their relationships might not necessarily be healthy, you know, when you come to know them.
Very true. Actually, just to echo that, the other day I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was referring to him telling him that when you get to meet your so-called heroes, you can be really let down when you get to see what their character really is. And you know, it's in line with what you're saying, because let's just say I'm really thankful for the God factor, number one, and being able to assess my self-awareness through the journey after that. Yeah, it's really gone a long way, and I know it's still, you know, it's not just a one-day affair. It's something that you need to constantly and consistently look at.
So when you look at yourself and where you are now, do you think you have a proper understanding of your hidden self, the unknown self, the blind self, you know, just the Johari, that for the windows? Do you think, and are there moments in life when you think that it has really been helpful, especially when it comes to interpersonal relationships and how you relate with people, when you come from that understanding that sometimes you're non-empathic, that you can second guess those strengths? Do you think that with that understanding, you can come up with something, or you can develop goals and on how to relate with people, especially being a preacher, an evangelist. At the same time, you're in the music world and you interact with so many people in the corporate. Do you think that the interpersonal awareness can be of great benefit to you?
Absolutely. The interpersonal awareness is key because, again, they say no man is an island. And, especially being part of the celebration and entertainment sphere of influence, when you look at the lack of order that we've had around our industry and sectors, it got to a point where I was very bitter because things weren't working out, especially the way you projected. Perhaps I was even younger then compared to who I am today. And so it got to a point I erected up walls, especially, and now that affected the relationship that I had with even corporate Kenya, because in your mind you think, I'm a star. What are these guys telling me? I've done my time, and I felt like Kenya owes me an apology, and so whenever anyone would reach out to tell me, we want to work with you, I would quickly tell them, if you want to work with me, first of all, I just put barriers and money forward, and instead of focusing on grooming a better relationship and finding out ways on how we can handle things differently, I was quick to, I was so absorbed in self that it affected everything. So even the beautiful hidden parts about me weren't being revealed.
The unknown self.
Exactly.
We thank God. I wanted you to just tell us briefly, is there a hidden self? Or did you ever discover some hidden self? Those things that you do and you don't want people to know. I remember one time, we had even had that discussion about, I'm speaking with his consent. I know it was everywhere on the newspaper. You struggled with masturbation and all those things. That's the hidden self, those secret things that when when people look at you, they feel, Kolo is this. There's a way people see me, but you wouldn't want some of those things to come out in the limelight, eh? But when you're able to share them, it means that you're healing, So tell how self-awareness just enabled you to really be able to come out and talk about it, some of those, the hidden self, those things that you don't want to talk about, that elicit shame and guilt.
And, I don't want to sound religious, but just to answer that question, I'll begin by
You're
saying,
religious, you're
yes,
spiritual.
Yes.
Because we cannot put the God
Yes.
factor out.
Yes.
You begin with God and spirituality.
Yes.
And then everything else falls in place.
Yes.
So there's no psychology without God.
True.
So God factor is part of the process towards self-awareness.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'll begin by saying the devil is indeed a liar. Because in those hidden things, perhaps many young people think that it's an escape for not being able to master your emotions, concerning different things that you may be going through, And because they are hidden things that you wouldn't want people to put out there, they end up being your escape. But what that does to you is it sinks you in a deeper hole. And if you're not able to, build that confidence, and again, that's where self-awareness checks in. Yeah. And once you're aware that, whatever I'm doing, this is not right. Why? You don't feel good about it after you've done it. So how comes you're gonna do it? Even why would that thought come? You know?
And you see, just speaking of the mind, I think I would put them under their kind of negative coping mechanisms.
Indeed.
The fear of being rejected, maybe in relationships, sometimes, as we said, you are up there, but you're very lonely.
Yes.
And you're alone. I mean, there are just different reasons for engaging in different habits that are not emotionally or psychologically healthy.
Yes.
Okay, what are your coping mechanisms in life? Like, are you a person when situations come, are you confrontational? You said you're forthright, or are you the type who would just avoid and walk away?
Now I've grown to be very confrontational. Yes, because with some of the spirits behind these things that lead people to behave in a certain way, you just need to confront that spirit. Of course, with wisdom, you're able to know how to deal with different situations when they present themselves, but especially if you're around the people that you really love and care about, it is important to confront, to have that courage to be able to confront something head on.
Wow, the topic is just getting more interesting and more practical, because some of these things, we see them every day, but we don't realize that every day is a learning process and we are being transformed. Collins Majali is one person we have worked with, and based on what he's saying and confessing for himself, you can clearly see the smile, the confidence that this is someone who is real self-aware, and he has used spirituality as a tool towards achieving self-awareness. Journaling has also been part of your tool, and I'm glad and happy to hear that you actually took a bold decision to get honest feedback. Very few people can do that. That means that you are becoming much, much aware of who you are. Our next discussion is going to be on self-acceptance. Self-acceptance.
Kujikubali.
Kujikubali, yes. Thank you so much,
You're
Collins.
most welcome.
We'll pick up from there another time. Thank you so much. Until then, God bless you.